Hey guys, so I know you're super excited about the Rihanna versus Smurfette movie coming out this Friday.
So excited.
Yeah, no. But before we do that, it's time for spoilers because, dude, we are going to not just do a Superman spoiler review.
We're doing scene by scene.
Yeah, like we're doing from the opening scene all the way to the freaking last end credit, dude. Yeah. So if you haven't seen the movie, obviously, you can check out my no spoiler review. And that whole Snyder versus Gunn thing with the whole fandom, I did a video on that too. I'll leave links to those at the bottom of the description as well as in the end of the video. And let me tell you before we start, dude, I love this freaking movie. You did too?
It's so good.
And we rated this using our super sophisticated 5-star rating system that's like out of this world, probably from Krypton. What did you rate it?
Like a 4.5 out of 5.
And I rated it 4.75. Freaking magical shit, man. But yeah, I've never had a Superman I could really feel like I could relate to. Dude, my Dark Knight shelf has a new addition to it. Even the freaking dog is happy. And yeah, listen, I saw the movie 3 times. You've seen it what?
Like 2 times.
2 times? Yeah, dude. And listen, the movie has flaws. It's not perfect. But it's just fun and hopeful. And let's get into this. And I love how we went straight into like the 3,300,
It just gets
3
you
hours.
into it right from the beginning.
Yeah, you're like right into the freaking thing, like a comic book almost. Because when you go to like get into a comic book, you don't go to like issue 1 from like 1965.
Yeah.
You start reading the comics and they kind of catch you up to it. If you like the character, you buy next month's comic and the following month, and yeah, you're a fan. This thing literally drops you into this universe. And I mean, actually drops you.
Yeah, he's actually dropping in.
The Fortress of Solitude looks like the Fortress of Solitude. Superman robots are freaking fun.
They're really fun.
And Crypto.
So adorable.
Crypto's the shit, dude. I also like how entertaining it is. Like, even like, I like how laid back he is, where he's like, what the hey, dude? And it's like Superman saying, dude. I love that shit.
I love that he doesn't curse.
He doesn't take himself too seriously either. I know nothing against Henry Cavill. I love Cavill Superman, but he gets so serious about freaking everything. And even Christopher Reeve's kind of like above it all in a way because he's Kryptonian. This guy feels like just a normal human being with powers, which is so much more relatable. This dynamic was so entertaining. It could be like a TV series, and I would freaking watch it. Just like them hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude. Yeah. I also like that the engineer was cursing in Spanish. I was like, oh, wow. Like, she's actually Latina in this. This is cool. We don't get represented that much. Like, I know I'm a huge Dark Knight fan. When Bane was announced, I'm like, oh, wow, he's Latin. And then Tom Hardy got casted. It's like, how do you get mad at that? It's freaking Tom Hardy. So, yeah, you take that. But engineer?
Dude, she looked so cool. I don't know if you've seen the videos online, but she went through some rigorous shit to get into that body.
I need to do the same workout. But yeah, you get introduced to Lex, and it's like he's learned 2,500 fight moves for just like paying attention and studying Superman.
He's like...
Some stalker shit, dude.
He's a hater.
I will tell you, though, when he's like, N24, Z26, A1, or 1A. A1's a steak sauce. And he's doing all that stuff. I'm like, bro, this is the last guy I want to play against with Mortal Kombat like Street Fighter or Injustice. No. Bro, you get your ass kicked. Yeah, no, he's pretty good. Tessmacher's doing the selfies, and dude, it's just, this movie's having fun.
It's having a lot of
right
fun.
Away, you could tell it's having fun.
Yeah.
Superman's back, and he's fighting the Hammer of Baravia. And obviously, you've seen the movie, because this is a spoiler review. People are like, oh, Superman bleeds. This movie sucks. You know what I mean? It's like, Superman don't lose battles. No, well, since you've seen the movie, you know it's his clone. And it's like, yeah, when he bleeds from the Kryptonian. Like the Kaiju doesn't make him bleed.
Yeah.
And even freaking the engineer doesn't make him bleed. She fucks him up because of the thing with the lungs, but other than that, no.
It was dark as hell.
Yeah, no, that was dark. Oof. But I do like that it made Superman vulnerable.
Yeah.
It makes it more like, bro, if you can just punch planets and the only thing that could ever beat you is someone pulling kryptonite out of their ass, it gets boring after a while.
When there are some stakes involved, it's more exciting for the audience.
Exactly. And more interesting for the character. Just ask Batman. Now, there's not a lot of Clark Kent in this, which I do wish there was a little bit more. But the Clark Kent we got, I kind of liked. I like the dynamic. I like the relationships with him, Jimmy Olsen, everybody. Jimmy Olsen's funny as hell, dude. Yeah.
He's a favorite.
And he's like, oh, he kicks it. Superman got his ass kicked. And he's like, well, Superman didn't totally get his ass kicked. It's like, yeah, it was funny. But there is a lot of world building, for sure. Back at that apartment, dude, the chemistry that they have is so good.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's not perfect. Obviously, you saw like they're a little rocky. They're learning each other. And, Lois said she's not great at relationships.
But even when they're arguing, like even in the interview, they still have great chemistry.
It feels real.
Yeah.
It feels real. And that interview there's a lot to learn there because just the person inside him is like, I want to save a life. Like, she's like going like, you have to go through all the proper channels, fucking 20 freaking steps. And he's just like, he's frustrated because he's like, why can't I just save lives?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Lex, he's a dick.
Yeah.
And it just shows good writing because of Superman robots. We saw them for 2 minutes. I felt bad seeing them get like beat up like that or wiped out. Especially the crypto thing. Bro, be careful with that.
You do not mess with that.
That's like DC Studios' Baby Yoda right now. Or at least it's bound to be. Yeah, you don't want to hurt the dog. No,
Yeah,
no,
do not touch the dog.
And there is a lot of exposition where like Luthor just has to like do this whole monologue about letting the audience know why he doesn't like Superman. And it's very comic booky, but that's where we are, a comic book world. Now with that kaiju scene, it even does the music almost like it's a Godzilla film, like dun dun, and people are running. I'm like, yeah, this movie is owning how cheesy it is, and the world we live in is interesting in this because you see the guy eating the ice cream or the yogurt. It's just a fucking Tuesday, dude. Like this is just a normal Tuesday for them. But Superman's humanity really is on full display here. Not just saving people, but even the fucking squirrel. The squirrel was cute.
Oh my, that was my favorite part.
And dude, even the kaiju. He was holding back. Do you think he couldn't have gone in that thing's mouth and come out of its ass? Easily. But he didn't want to do that because he was like, oh, let's find a galactic zoo. Like, that was funny, dude. But that's Superman. That's Boy Scout Superman.
He's pure.
Yeah. Even Mr. Terrific, like, rolls his eyes, like, really? Like, when he's like, oh, let's save it. Let's not hurt it. And, you see, like, you're introduced to the Justice Gang. Guy Gardner, he's a real prick in the comics. They wrote him as a likable prick here. So it's like, you got to like him a little bit. And then, you have Hawk Girl. She's cool. They barely use her, but I still liked her. And then we get the parents' message. And I know this is probably pretty divisive for Superman fans.
Has it been done before?
It's been done in the comics, I think, a few times. Don't quote me on it. I'm more of a Batman guy. I didn't know what to think about it at first, but I liked it a lot at the end, towards, later in the movie, and I'll explain why. But yeah, dude, his whole world just got rocked.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole, like, what did you do with my dog? James Gunn directed Brightburn. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's basically like, what if Superman was like an evil kid? He produced it. Yeah, Superman's better than I am, bro, because that were to happen, dude, this movie would have gone from Superman to Brightburn real freaking quick. You don't mess with someone's dog, dude. Like,
you can watch a movie with like millions of people dying.
But
with the dog, it's like...
I'm like a fat John Wick. What do you want, dude? And going back to like the world they live in, I love when he's just there and he's having that talk with Lois, and you have the intergalactic imp out there, and he's oh no, they got it. It's like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
We're used to this.
He's like, oh, good Coco, like that was great. But I really like the whole thing where Lois was like, like Lois is admitting she's cynical, and he's just trusts everyone and thinks everything's beautiful, and that's what's so special about this Superman, dude. I love the Snyderverse, but I'm glad to feel like in the world we live in right now where everybody's kind of at each other, I love to feel that purity and like that lack of cynicism.
And it adds a nice contrast with characters that are more cynical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
As far as the Pocket Universe, I think it's interesting that like the whole time Eve Tessmacher's acting all like ditzy, she was really smart.
Dude.
Yeah, because Lex told her about all the exes that are in there, and she's like taking these selfies, and she's really
all of that on file.
She's building insurance policy basically for herself, dude. But yeah, I love that. I will say, as much as I love the humor between her and Jimmy Olsen and him not wanting to do the dates, I'm glad it stopped where it did, because it would have gone a little bit to the point with Jimmy being a little bit too dickish. So, but I'm glad the humor was there and it stopped kind of where it was.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too. I've kind of felt bad for her a little bit. And that universe is upsetting, dude, because you see like freaking Crypto with the squirrels. Like it was funny. It's cute because it's so comic booky. Like I can't believe I'm seeing
it. Chasing a squirrel.
But it's horrible though. I love the workaround with no kryptonite, and they have Metamorpho making the kryptonite. That was interesting. And the monkeys.
That was so smart.
Super spy, super shit. The angry monkeys were so great. You can call that what it was. People will be like, oh, they're talking about the Snyder bots, or oh, they're talking about this or that. It really is just the society we live in, where like, I gotta be honest with you, man, like the amount of people that were like, oh, movie sucks, and they didn't even see the movie.
I think it's not representing a specific group of people. I think it's just keyboard warriors in general. Hashtag super shit was really funny.
Even when Mali, the falafel guy, you know, that thing happened to him. And it was a little funny where Lex was like, oh, I didn't realize this was going to go so fast. He thought he would get a few more tries with, you know. Superman got emotional because it doesn't matter if the guy just gave him a falafel. It's still a life. And that was just, dude, it's empathy, bro. Seeing the Hall of Justice, bro, it's like, yeah, we're getting super friends with this shit. So that was super cool. And one of the things I loved about Marvel that I think DC never really nailed, but I see them getting it now, and it's a lot of it is because James Gunn came from Marvel, is the banter between the superheroes. I always loved that with Marvel. To me, like when they would kind of bicker with each other and funny little jabs, I love that because it made them relatable and fun. That happens here in the Hall of Justice, and they're all joking around with each other.
And they finally got it.
Guy Gardner's like, if he doesn't like anything, oh, it's the oath. It's the oath. He doesn't want to do it. And freaking Mr. Terrific, like they're like, you put nano tracking in your friend's blood? And he's like, no, I do that to everybody. And then you see the other Justice League members like, thinking like, what? That was awesome. And that fight scene was awesome.
Oh my God.
It reminds me very much of like Guardians with like Yondo with the arrow. James Gunn knows how to do this shit, dude.
Mr. Terrific is so cool.
Terrific is awesome. Terrific is a highlight of this movie. He is one of the highlights for sure. And one of the moments that I will admit got me a little bit teary-eyed was when Metamorpho makes that like kind of wannabe son. And dude, that freaking light goes and you see Superman just like suddenly get his strength back.
And like he punches out.
And it freaking saves Crypto and shit. And I'm like, yeah. And freaking Metamorpho turning into like the acid splashing everyone. And you see a head flying with a little flame behind it, a dog with a cape, Superman with a green baby. And I'm like,
it's goofy, but it's
a comic book, bro. It's a comic book. It's a cartoon. It's fun, and it's what we need right now. And I freaking love it.
Yeah.
And I will say, when they're saving them, there's that one little moment where like Mr. Terrific is looking through the cameras, the T-Spears, and you see Crypto just kind of stop and process and look at the one T-Spear and be like, and the ear kind of goes up and he's like, toy. And he starts chasing it. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. That was the cutest freaking thing. Now, I will admit, Mom and Pa Kent, the first time I heard them, I was like, I think we might be going a little extreme with this.
No, I thought it fit really well. I mean, it's Kansas.
The accent was kind of strong, but Henry Cavill looks like he could have been the kid of Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. This one, you can tell, this guy is not their kid. They obviously couldn't have a kid, and they raised them on their own, and there's such a contrast where he's not from here, but they helped him. Like, wow. And there is a great conversation here, going back to the whole thing of parents, the original footage of nature versus nurture. It's what makes Superman so special. And there's a very important lesson here about you can make a decision to be a better person. You don't have to do what you're told to do. You can make a decision in life to be a better person.
Yeah.
And it says more about Clark than it did about the message. So I love that. Metropolis needs saving, and so does this country that's getting invaded. And what does Clark say? I called in some friends. I was like, super friends. I'm telling you, that's what that was. Guy Gardner with the middle finger, with the freaking tanks.
I didn't catch that until my second watch.
I saw that right away. And also Hawk Girl, where like she pulls out freaking the guy, and he's like, you're not gonna hurt me. Like you're like Superman, and she's like, I'm not Superman. Freaking drops him. That was awesome. There's also some call outs to like old Superman stuff, like when it's him against the girl in black and the big guy with muscles in black, and it's 2 against 1. I'm thinking Superman 2 and Man of Steel. The part where all the nano getting all over him, I'm thinking about Superman 3. And the plan to fill up his lungs was dark as shit, dude.
Very dark.
That was dark. And there's that cool moment with Luthor being like, 1A, 1A, 1. And it's projecting him through Ultraman.
Nicholas Hoult is such a good actor.
Yeah, dude.
You felt that.
And I will say, I have not looked online. I don't know if anyone else is saying this. If I sound stupid, I apologize. But I couldn't help but see Superman's clone, who is dumber than him, but stronger because he doesn't hold back, unlike Superman, who does, going into the black hole and disappearing alive. And I'm thinking to myself, laugh at me if you want, but all I could think about is Bizarro. And I'm like, is this guy going to come back at some point like Bizarro? I would love to see a proper Bizarro on the big screen. I would freaking lose it, dude. And And I love the image of Superman flying to Lex's freaking ship, and right behind him is Crypto and Mr. Terrific's holding on to him. And that image, I'm like, this is the universe I want, bro. I'm so excited for the DCU. Lex is going to escape. Freaking Superman stops him, and then you get that monologue, bro. Of like,
the monologue is so good.
His strength is being human. His biggest strength is being human, and he hopes one day Lex can realize that about him too. So he's not giving up on Lex. Talk about not giving up on anyone, bro.
And for Lex, it's going in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, Lex just does not give a shit. And after 2 pokes, dude, when he did that and freaking Crypto went at him, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's let it happen.
Deserved.
Back at the fortress, dude, number 4 wants to be called Gary, calls him Gary. And there's just that awesome interaction. And then one of my favorite scenes, dude, Supergirl. Oh my God.
I'm so excited. They released the official poster.
That poster is freaking fantastic. I'm going to put that right here if you haven't seen it.
So good.
Dude, and so Guardians vibe too, by the way. I love the fact that they didn't just do a carbon copy like, oh, it's Superman with a skirt. No.
Yeah.
She's totally different. She's a train wreck.
Messed up.
But this has been harder for her. He was a baby. He didn't remember all the shit. She wasn't.
Yeah.
And the fact that when she gets there and Crypto starts attacking her, and Superman and Gary having that conversation, and he's like, you know, no boundaries, this and that. This is why it's like this. That like was such a great exchange. And then she's like, thanks for watching him, bitch. Bro, I was dying. I know some Superman purists are like, you called him a bitch? You can't do that. Bro, relax. Take the stick out of your ass. Throw the stick at freaking Crypto. Maybe he'll go get it. And to wrap it all up and go full circle, dude, that footage, do you want to see the family footage that sues you? He goes, yes, please put it up. And it's his Earth family.
Oh, dude.
And it shows that one clip of his dad holding him up,
It brought
Pa
tears.
Kent, and he's acting like he's flying. And instead of, and I love this because every superhero movie ends the same way, dude. You see the superhero jump up and go right at the camera, and then boom, there goes the name of the movie. That's always the same shit. Like this, I love the fact that it didn't do that, dude. It zoomed into just him being happy, smiling, and just taking it all in. And it's just different, man. This movie left me with hope. Love, freaking loved it. And I love that moment of reflection, first post-credit scene of him and just Crypto there. And it was just a moment to like reflect on what we just saw and just absorb it and the beauty of it. And it was just, I don't know, dude. This movie fucking made me cry. I'm not even joking.
Every watch.
Yeah, I got teary-eyed every watch, actually.
Yeah.
Last credit scene wasn't really that big of a deal. It was just a little bit of humor between him and Mr. Terrific. But going back to it, dude, it's okay if you don't love the movie, but it's the way this movie made me feel. It has lessons that I think that people really need to hear right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like this movie is all about being united. It's about being together. If you couldn't pick up the message of just
being a good person,
yeah, like you got problems, dude. Guys, what did you think about Superman? Let us know in the comments. Put whatever spoilers. I know we forgot some shit, so by all means, go nuts in the comments section. Also, please like, subscribe, and whatever to all the stuff that I have. And thanks for watching.